Welcome everyone back to the Ocean Spray Cranberry Bog here in Rockefeller Center. I gotta say, I've had a fabulous day here. I wanna thank everyone in New York and I wanna thank everyone at home for tuning in. So far, we've had great cocktails and we learned about cranberry versatility. We also learned about some of the really great health benefits that you may or may not know. So I hope we got to share a little bit of our cranberry secrets with you all. But right now, we are actually gonna go back to where it all starts. And it all starts here in the bog with the cranberry. So I'm gonna have someone talk to us right now who is a pro at it. Right now we have Gary Garretson.
Hey, good afternoon,
nice
Sharon.
To see you, Gary.
Thanks for making the trip to our bog here in New York City. This is great.
Thank you, Gary. We are so excited to be here. And, you know, this is something that we don't really get to experience. A lot of people don't on a daily basis or on a harvest basis, which is only a limited time, right?
Well, we're harvesting at home right now in Massachusetts and on Carver, our property up there. It's nice to bring the depiction of what we're doing at home, though, to New York City and down here.
Is this really what it looks like?
This is really what it looks like. I'm standing in lots of cranberries. I'm always happiest when I'm standing in a good harvest like this is. So
That's great. And like, do they really float? Do they grow in water? Because I don't know if that's confusing to people.
Actually, they really grow on vines such as this over here, and we'll flood the bog, put on about 8 inches of water, and then we'll beat them off tenderly, float to the surface, and we use an egg beater type of equipment that like this in the back of us here.
Well, that's really helpful. How unique is harvest season? You know, is that something we can see, you know, all across the country, or is it?
Bogs Across America is we're bringing the harvest to different areas of the country right now. Here, the cranberries naturally grow in Massachusetts, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Washington, Oregon, on the British Columbia, Canadian provinces of Quebec, and Newfoundland and Nova Scotia.
And how long is the season? I mean, do you guys go to the beach all year and then you harvest in October, or?
Well, some of my fellow farmers think that all we do is just gather the fruit once a year, but actually some of my plants are over 100 years old. So they've required a lot of careful care over the years to be still prolific and still producing.
Oh my God, that's
And so
great.
It's an interesting process that we go through, but the cranberry plants actually, harvest season, they already have next year's bud on the plant itself.
That's awesome. How do you flood? Like, do you bring in water trucks? How do you bring in all this water to harvest? I mean, a cranberry bog is how many acres? What's your largest cranberry bog? How many acres?
Largest 15-acre cranberry bog. Still, though, the natural ecosystem that we have, and essentially that we operate the farm on. So we have water areas, we have cranberry areas, and that actually will move the water from one bog to another, use it, reuse it, put it back into the wetland areas after we've used it. It winds up being an interesting process, and it's enjoyable. We have lots of people visit our farm over the course of harvest season.
I'm sorry, I have so many questions. I'm just so excited. So cranberries grow Northern Americas? I heard you talk about...
one of 3 Native American fruits. My cranberry plants were there long before I was, and hopefully they're going to be there long after I am. They probably will outlast me, for sure. So my cranberry bogs actually go back to about the mid-1800s.
Wow, that is spectacular.
Some of our vines are well over 100 years old.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Gary, you were harvesting the other day, and we snuck over to your farm, and we got some great footage, and we're going to give everyone a bird's eye view at what a cranberry harvest really looks like. Take a look. Oh my God, Gary, that was like so breathtaking. I just wanted to faint dead away, tear in the eye. What gorgeous footage. I can't believe you get to be in that element every day.
Those are views of my bog I'd never seen before, so I had new exposition to my bog, new exposure to how my farm looks. So it was wonderful. They did a great job, and that little helicopter was fabulous. We loved it.
Oh, good.
So
and
it was great.
Like, how does one become a cranberry farmer? Like, you know, I don't even know how you get started with that.
Actually, I'm the recipient of good gene pools. So my grandfather was a very industrious gentleman who started his business back at the turn of the century. And he came back from college, amassed some cranberry land, knew that this would be a good business at some point. But it was his stubbornness and my father's perseverance in the 1950s when wetlands weren't thought of as being very valuable. And he wound up being persistent and continuing to expand the farm and believe that these wetland areas that we all value so much because of the prolific crop.
And a great heritage in your family, and we actually have some footage of that as well, of an interview that you had done, and you talked a little bit about your history with the company and that. So let's roll to that.
My name's Gary Garretson. I'm a fourth generation cranberry grower with Ocean Spray Farmers Co-op. We are based in Massachusetts. I came into the cranberry business via my great-grandfather's familiarizing his son with the cranberry business back in the late 1800s, and this has been a wonderful, productive bog for many years. Well, we had gotten involved with Ocean Spray as one of the early members of the cooperative, and have been supportive of the Ocean Spray Cranberry Co-op because we had always felt that a farmer-owned cooperative was the best way to be doing production. It was the most rewarding for farmers. The best thing that I enjoy about being a cranberry farmer in this modern day and age is that I'm able to interact with the natural environment in a more unique way than most people are able to. Early on, my daughters would look at me and say, "Dad, what are you doing?" And I'd say, "Well, I'm going out to listen to the vines," and in a way, that's what I do, is how well I know my farm and my bogs and my plants determines how well I'm going to be doing that year and how perceptive I am given the set of circumstances that are presented every day. That's how well I'm going to be able to solve the problems and come up with a bountiful crop. And this year I listened pretty well, and it's been a good year.
Hi, welcome back. Hey, Gary, you know what? That was great. I mean, you know, there's something about having a long history. I mean, how many generations?
4 generations now.
There's nothing that lasts for 4 generations anymore, so that's so breathtaking to see that.
I'm fortunate cranberry grower, so it's good. The longevity, though, on my plants only is a precursor to the 4 generations of the farm.
Yeah, and I mean, I think too, I mean, as a farmer, I think it's so important, and you've probably said this before, not many people to talk to outside in the bog, so you speak to your vines?
Sometimes the plants are the only ones that listen to me, so that's okay. So
well, hopefully you both treat each other well.
Well, the better I listen to my vines, the more successful the crop will be. So.
Well, you know what? We're going to listen to a few people here in New York. You wanted to take some questions?
Be glad to.
I see a young lady over here that's been eyeing you the whole time. I always said, you know, you were a little charismatic. You should come out of the farm.
Not at all.
Let's go ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay?
I just wanted to know, how do cranberries actually float?
Oh, thank you for an easy question that I'm able to master.
We're going to find out how cranberries float.
Yes.
That was your question.
Cranberries actually float because of the natural air chamber that's inside.
Show the camera.
Here we
Let's
are.
take a look at that in
and
the camera too.
There you are. See, the cranberry is actually hollow. And so these guys actually have the secret inside. And the air chambers that are inside there allow the cranberry to float. So very easy, very natural. We brush them off the vines, the harvest process, they'll just float to the surface.
So that's one of the hidden secrets about cranberry. And they bounce as well, right?
They bounce because of the firmness of the fruit. And that was one of the tests that we used to use on the cranberry plants. So the cranberry would bounce. Those were the good ones. The firm ones, the bad ones wouldn't bounce. And they'd wind up going to the compost pile. So.
Well, thank you for your question. That was great. And do we have anyone else? Hi, how are you
I
today?
was walking by today and I seen the bog, and I wanted to know: is it true that you guys make your own bogs, and where do you get your equipment from?
Yes. Actually, the equipment that we have, there's not a cranberry manufacturing plant where they'll make our cranberry equipment. We make most of our own equipment. It's an interesting process that we go through, though, because we're harvesting food in water. So we're cognizant of the fact that the cranberries are in a delicate environment. We use food-safe hydraulic oil. We manufacture the equipment so it will be light in the environment, using propane fuels. There aren't any hydrocarbons that would want to be spilled in the water. We're sensitive to the idea that our equipment needs to be different. And to that end, we're manufacturing the equipment ourselves. We make it on the farm and we do the process.
Gary, and I think we actually have a piece of equipment right here. This is an older piece of equipment.
This is an older one. The mechanical ones such as this were the ones that we used to use. Now we've upgraded so that we're able to harvest a little bit more efficiently, quickly, and using the food-safe materials that are incorporated into that. That one would have used gasoline as a propellant. Here we're using propane fuel, so there'll be no danger of hydrocarbon spills in the environment that we're operating in. So,
thank you for your question. Thank you very much. So Gary, this has to be your favorite time of year. I mean, to go through a year's worth of growing this fruit, and now it comes to harvest, and then to have everyone so excited to have it on their holiday table. What's that feel like?
It's great. The only thing better is getting a check in the mail, but that's okay. So we enjoy this time of year, but we also enjoy helping the consumers and everybody understand about the cranberry, what's going on in the cranberry bog, and that's why we're here. So thanks very much, Aaron.
Thank you so much for being here and for walking us through the harvesting process. I want to thank everybody in New York City for coming out, for asking your questions. We can't do this without you. We love to hear what you have to say and all the questions that you have around how cranberries grow. If you have any more questions, please come to oceanspray.com. Visit us on Facebook and also on Twitter. We would love to answer your questions. We'd love to hear from you. Gary, I had a blast. Thanks you so
Sharon.
much. This was a great way to end the day.
This is fabulous, so thank you very much.
Thank you all for watching our live broadcast. I really appreciate it. I want to thank the ladies from the Martini Club International and also Connie Dickman, our RD, for giving us some great health information. If you missed anything from this segment, please go on our Facebook page, /oceanspray.com. Happy harvesting. Have a happy holiday. Thank you very much for coming out. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Thanks. That was great.